Then all three moved off, back through the drawing room to the study. Together Vasilisa and Wanda followed after them. In the study the wolf, squinting hard, looked thoughtful and said to Vasilisa, "Better give us a receipt, mister." His forehead creased like an accordion as he wrestled with some obviously disturbing thought. "What?" whispered Vasilisa. "Receipt, saying you gave us these things," the wolf explained, staring at the floor. Vasilisa's expression changed, his cheeks turned pink. "But how can I?" "What?" he wanted to shout. "What? You mean to say I have to give you a receipt as well?" But quite different words came out. "Why do you need a receipt?" "Ah, you ought to be shot like a dog, you bloodsucker." "I know what you're thinking, I know. If your people were in power you'd squash us like insects. I can see there's no good to be had out of you. Boys, put him up against the wall. I'll give you such a thrashing." Working himself up until he was shaking with fury, he pushed Vasilisa against the wall and clutched him by the throat, at which Vasilisa instantly turned red. "Oh!" shrieked Wanda in horror, tugging at the wolf's arm. "Stop it!" "Mercy, for God's sake. Vasya, do as he says and write it." The wolf released the engineer's throat, and with a crack one half of his collar burst away from the stud as though on a spring. Vasilisa did not remember how he came to be sitting in his chair. With shaking hands he tore a sheet from a notepad, dipped his pen into the ink. In the silence the crystal globe could be heard ticking in the wolf's pocket. "What shall I write?" Vasilisa asked in a weak, cracked voice. The wolf began to think, his eyes blinking. "Right, by order of headquarters of the Cossack division, I surrendered, articles to the sergeant as follows." "As follows," croaked Vasilisa, and was silent. "Then say what they are, in the course of search." "I have no claims." "Then sign." Here Vasilisa gathered the last remnants of the breath in his body and turning his glance away from the wolf, he asked. "Who shall I say I gave them to?" The wolf looked suspiciously at Vasilisa, but he restrained his displeasure and only sighed. "Right, Sergeant Niemelak," he thought for a moment, glancing at his companions. Sergeant Kirpady and Hetman Urigan. Staring muzzily at the paper, Vasilisa wrote to the wolf's dictation. Having written it, instead of his proper signature he wrote, Vasilisa handed the paper to the wolf, who took it and stared at it. Just then the glass door at the top of the staircase slammed, footsteps were heard and Myshlayevsky's voice rang out. The wolf scowled, his companions shuffled uneasily. The wolf turned red in the face and hissed. Quiet. He pulled the automatic out of his pocket and pointed it at Vasilisa, who gave a martyred smile. From the corridor came more footsteps, muffled talk. Then there was the sound of the bolt being drawn, the latch, the chain, and the door was locked again. Footsteps again, men laughing. After that the glass door slammed, the sound of steps receding upstairs, and all was quiet. The disfigured man went out into the lobby, leaned his head against the door and listened. When he returned he exchanged meaning glances with the wolf, and all three jostled their way out into the lobby. There the giant wriggled his fingers inside his boots, which were rather tight. They'll be cold. And he put on Vasilisa's rubber overshoes. The wolf turned to Vasilisa and said shiftily in a low voice, "See here, mister. Don't you tell anyone we've been here. If you inform on us, our boys will beat you up. Don't go out of the house till tomorrow, or you'll be in trouble." "Sorry," whined the man with the shattered nose. The rosy-cheeked giant said nothing, but only looked shyly at Vasilisa, then delightedly at his gleaming overshoes. As they walked quickly out of Vasilisa's door and along the passage to the front door, for some reason they tiptoed, jostling each other as they went.